Yeah, hello everyone. In today's session, so we will try to download and set up the sample Spring Boot Pet Clinic project, and then we'll go through a little bit of code walkthrough, and then we'll try to do some small exercise in that application. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So, so here is a link where you can see all the different types of forks for the Spring Pet Clinic. So, so there are different technologies. They have the samples. So this is the first one is a very basic MVC based architecture Spring Boot application. Um, and here they have the sample for the cloud, Spring Cloud using Netflix, and it's just this is the backend, just the REST API, and a lot of other things like AngularJS, Spring Data, and even if they have the Spring AI project and then LangChain for the pack. So depending on what technologies you are interested, you can play around with it. So for in today's session, for now, let's take a quick look at the Spring Pet Clinic. Okay. So here is the code, and then I'm just copying the link and then open the VS Code. So let me reboot it. Yeah, so actually, yeah, so let's do that. So once you open the VS Code, whatever you are interested, your favorite IDE tool, you just click on the, I mean, especially in the VS Code, it's straightforward and simple. You just click on the clone git repository and then paste the link, and then you just clone it, and then it will download into your local project. Okay, so and you can store it into the local folder. Okay, so I already had the downloaded earlier. So let me open my previous recent ones. File, open recent, Spring Boot Clinic. Okay. Okay. So this is what it is. The whole source code for the Spring Pet Clinic Spring Boot application. So this has two things. One is Maven and BuildGradle. So they had both uh, build management, dependency management tools. But right now we can use the Maven. So I have enabled it for the Maven. Uh, Okay, so let's take a quick look at the source code, right? So we know the source code. I mean, every other projects it has this SRC folder. So there are some other folders like dot GitHub, dot Gradle, dot Maven. You can ignore all those. And the main thing is the SRC folder. So under the SRC folder, you will see main and test. Yeah, so like any other Maven project. So under the Maven, you see this is the main class, Pet Clinic. Okay, so inside the pet clinic, so you see this, this has a hand comment to everyone. So this is the default one, the Spring Boot application annotation is being used. So this is like any other main project. If you are writing a standalone main program, so this is the usually we'll write a main, right? So similarly for the Spring Boot applications, so we will have a main. There will be a class with a main, and you annotate with that is the Spring Boot application annotation. Okay, so inside that you call the Spring application dot run, and then using this main class that PitClinic that class. So it bootstraps when it is starting up. It bootstraps all your configurations. It scans a whole Java project, and then it looks for all the components and all the configurations. Okay. So for now, let's go ahead and then run this project, and then let's see what happens. So I'm just clicking on the run Java. I'm going to click on the run Java. What's happening? Let's see. Do I have something? Let me 1 second. Oops. No, no, no. Let's see what's happening here. Why? Okay, so there is another way to do is when playing well. Let's see if that is happens. Oh, okay, okay. Uh, I pause my video. Pause it. Okay, so I think it was doing some indexing. It took a while for to come back for whatever reason. So now, so we see the pet clinic application here. Um, so it has a main method. So we can just simply start this. Oh, sorry, one second. We can just simply start this run as like any other regular main standalone Java application. Yeah. Okay, Java is ready. So it's the Spring Boot application and it has main method and it has just run method. Okay, it is just calling inside the run. Okay, let's do run Java. Hopefully this time it will run. It's trying to come up. Yeah, so it's completed installation in 3 milliseconds. So Tomcat started on port 8080. So 49 points actuator with context path. So the most important thing is the port number where it is getting started and with the context path. So here in this case, the context path is root, so you don't need to add anything. So let's access your, so here in this case, we can access the application at the port 8080. Okay, and let's do that. Let's access the application localhost 8080. And then so there is no, yeah, it's a root context, so you don't need to enter anything. Okay, so here in this case you see the menu, so find owners, so just look for the owners. So this is a simple, very simple pet clinic application where it maintains the owners and uh, veterinarians. Yeah, so it does not have any veterinarians to manage the veterinarians, but it is just the listing, so page nation, and it has one error page. Okay, so now let's look at these find owners. Yeah, so we have the, if you click on the link, so you have the details. So this is self-explanatory, and you can, if you want, you can edit the owner. If you want, you can add the owner's new owner. So now let's do very quickly. So let's say if I have anything, something, telephone, something, add owner. So this is being added. So new owner is being added. And if you click the find owners again, you see at the end, probably, yeah. So this is a new owner got added. Okay. So one thing is important. I mean, so one thing is useful. How do I look for the what you call to see the data, right? How do we? So this is being used in memory database right now. In memory H2 database, there are different databases available here. If you go to source main, where is that? Sorry, check cell. So wherever. Mhm. Resources, DB. So yeah, if you see there are different databases, H2, HSQL DB, MySQL, Postgres. Okay. So by default, it is using H2 database. If you go to the application properties, they have different. So this is the database. If you want to switch, you can switch the profile or you can use a different database here. Okay. So right now it is being internal in-memory database. So how do we access the data, right? Like, if we are using MySQL or Oracle, usually you go and see the databases. Okay, you can query the data. You can see in the data in the database directly. So here in this case, how do we view? Okay, to I think did I okay. So first thing is first, by default when you download, so this will not have this attribute Spring H2 console enable equal to. So I added this one. So if I want to access the H2 database directly, so because this is an in-memory database, every time it reboots, So you will not have the data. Every time it reboots, it wipes out the existing data, and then it needs to start a fresh one. So if you see, look at the H2 console available at, okay? So here, so our availability, this is the JDBC H2. This is the URL. This is the JDBC URL which we can use to connect to the database, okay? So let's see localhost. So how do you use? So how do you do the // I believe H2 iPhone H2 console, okay? So in this one, so you replace this JDBC URL, okay? You just copy that URL here. Okay, and then default password is SA, and default username is SA, and then password is blank. So let's do a test connection. So here you got the connection got successful. That means you can connect to that. So you have the interface, nice interface, simple, very simple. And the owners we got added, right? The one we let's see, the one we added from the UI, we got added or not. See, if you see here, so the user whatever we added, it got added. Okay. So that is one useful thing. So what else we want to add? Okay. So in this case, we wanted to see, so this is a basic application which we saw. So now let's take a look at, so if you guys know the Spring Boot application, this is being used all the MVC architecture. Let's look at the code. Let's walk through very code. So under the main folder, you see the Java. So you see the PetClinic main application. If you see the owner, so you see the controllers, different controllers, owner controller, owner repository. And so these are all the model objects, that's the entity objects. And the PetClinic application. So what is model, owner, system? So there are different types of systems. So yeah, so vet. So you see the vet controller, okay? So now let's look at the owner controller. This is what we were saying, okay? So in the owner controller, you see all the you see all these controller annotation. So and you see bunch of get mappings, post mappings. Okay, I think the one yesterday we were looking at is we wanted to do the exercise of adding a new new one additional element, right? So find owner. So click on job clinic. So here we wanted to add a country. Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. So let's do that. So add owner. So first thing is first, let's think about it. So this must be a view page, some HTML page. So where it is trying to capture all the first name, last name, city, and telephone. Let's go and find this HTML page. Either you can do from the backwards to front end, or from the front end to front end to the back end. Either way, fine. So, but the easiest, simplest thing is let's add a text box here for the country code for the country. Okay. So now here, so as we know, let me find, so where we can find this. So let's see owner. If you don't know, I'm just assuming owner something HTML, something like that. Owner list, owner detail, create or update owner form.html. Okay, so that is the closest one. So I'm just opening here. If you see, yeah, first name, last name, city, and the more important thing is add owner. So this is what it is. Okay, so I think probably this is the right place. Let's try to add a country here. So I'm copying this existing element. So it was existing input element. I'm copy pasting here, simple, and then change the city to country, and then element here, country. Yeah, this is a text box. This is fine. And after this, so obviously all this data, it is going into a model object called owner, okay, of type owner, obviously, which we know, which I'm guessing there will be a owner dot java. There should be the owner dot java. Yes. So this is in the owners folder. Yeah. So this is an entity. Again, it is mapped to a owners table. So our, let's say our table's name. So select star from owners. Yeah. So it is matching. So it is mapped to owners table. Okay. This particular entity. So I'm assuming, so this, I mean, not assuming. So obviously, technically, whatever the data comes from the UI to the backend, so it gets populated here. So obviously, technically, it needs to be persisted. It needs to be saved along with other details. So definitely, we need to add a um, we need to add a one more attribute here, private string. country here. I'm just adding the country, 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 yeah. And then obviously we need to map it to a column, technically. So country, column is called country, and I'm making it as not blank. That means we need to provide a value for sure. Okay, we are making it mandatory. And so this is good, and we should add a getter and setters, because if you look at the other if you look at the rest of the attributes, everybody has get set method, get city, set city, get telephone, set telephone. So like that, you can add one more. For this also, you can add the getters and setters. Okay. Refactor. So go to implement, go to test P. Where is that? Okay, where's country, right? Let me see. To add line advanced Java, debug Java command, share, refactor. Refactor, let's do that. No, not refactor. Okay, give me 1 second. I think we can just generate. Uh, go to you can go to definition. Go to where is that? Source action. Oh my God, share. Where did it go? Otherwise, let me copy paste these two. Instead of get city, I can just add. I can brand it as a country, city country. Oh, set COUNTRY country. This is country. This is that country equal to country, and get telephone. Change it to get country. So return country. Okay. Okay. So what is this? Get city, set city. Oh, did I change something else? Or did it copy twice? Okay. Okay. So now this looks good. So I would have generated get set methods. Where is that? Let me try to find one more time. See if it can easy. Refactor, no. Refactor, no. Sorry. Uh, let's go rename, find, share, add to watch, run cursor, debug Java, command. No, I don't know why it is not there. Okay, anyway, so we'll worry about it later. Okay, so we are at a country. So obviously, then let's do that. Okay, so let's go to the owner controller. So obviously, we added one input here for the country, and then in the backend, we added in the table. Um, we added a in the domain object to capture the country. So let's see if we need to do anything in the owner controller. Okay. So in the owner controller, did we see anything the new? Okay. So you see whatever the values being captured in the view in the HTML page, all it comes into the owner's domain object. Okay. So here what it is doing, it is checking for any errors, nothing is there, and it is just trying directly calling the save method. Okay. So there is nothing here, so we don't need to do anything. So technically, obviously, I'm expecting everything will be copied from the UI to here. Let's now try to run this application again one more time, and then see that page comes up. Okay. So let me stop this and then run it again. Okay, cool. Okay, so now let's go back, find owners, add owner. Oops, something is happened. Let's see what happened. So there is some exception here. Obviously, looks like, let's see what is that. Okay, so we see that error, context path, expression, input field. Okay, template fragment, template state exception. Telephone is not readable or has invalid getter method. Oh, okay. So something is wrong. Let's see. Did we screw up something on the telephone? So we did screw up something. Okay. Telephone, country, telephone. Get city, set country, set telephone. Okay. I think we override the get telephone. So let me add that quickly. Okay. So get country, set city, get city. I think, yeah, we override the get telephone. Okay. Let me add that. Get get telephone, this dot get telephone. Okay, so let me just reboot it. uh, okay, it's restarted. Okay, now let me do find owners, add owner. Okay, so now you see it. Okay, so now we got the country here. Okay, so this time. Okay, now let's add uh, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, country maybe probably let's do USA. What add any? Oops, something happened. Okay, let's go and check. Okay, one more error. This time what is happening? Okay, let's see. Da-da-da. Okay, there is an exception. Obviously, add insertion, JDBC connection. Okay, okay, good. Okay, so syntax error exception column country not found. Obviously, we need to add the country column. Obviously, if I go here, so there is no country column here. Yeah, so we need to add the country column. Okay, so how do we add? So either you can just directly alter the table here, or they have given some scripts. Where is that scripts? DB source main, check style. Where is that? Check style test main resources DB. Yeah, H2. Okay, so schema.sql. Yeah, so open this. So they have some bunch of drop tables, create table words. So there is a create table type. So it's a create table owner. So obviously we need to add country here. You can just copy this. And then we are adding one more column called country. So I'll keep it the same varchar 80. Okay. No, this is, if you want to change the data for the existing users, you can change the data for the owners. So here, let's do default values as USA, not default, I mean, we are just entering some data here. I'll just, I'll just add country to everybody. USA, 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 USA. Do this, do that, and do this. Okay, so now we got added. So now let's reboot our application again. So yep, so now we added a column country in the owners table and we added some data. Okay, so now cool. Okay, let's close all these. I don't need pet clinic. Yeah, so let me clean up some all this. Okay, so now let's do one more time run Java. Okay. So yeah, obviously I think every time it starts different location. I mean, the instance of the H2 database will be different. I'm copying it again. Let me see if I can reconnect. Okay, so I have to reconnect. I'm trying to reconnect to database. Test connection, connect. So owners, country, yeah, school. Okay, so let's see. Yep, and all the users are the yes. Okay, now let's do this. Find owners. I'm going back to the application 8080 owners slash find. Add owner. This one, this one, this one. Country USA. And just do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Add owner. Cool. Okay, so now it got added. But unfortunately we didn't add it here. So let's see the database. Cool. Yeah, this is a user we got added. So one more thing we can do is we can just update this view page also. So we can just retrieve. So for the view, let's go and check what is our HTML. So here create our update page. Similarly for the bonus details.html, so you can say, I mean, so these are some simple, plain, self-explanatory, all the pages, very simple Java code. So here, let's see, where do we have? Okay, table, this is the one. Button primary, yeah. Okay, so here if you see, all this one. What is the document? Let's blah blah blah. Symbol, address, city, telephone. Okay, now let's do that. Yeah, right after the city, let's add one more. So it has a table row, table head, table division, the text field, and then table row. So this is each row. So we are adding one more row. So you have to add one more row, complete row. Okay. And then city. So this is the text label for the country, and this is the variable which comes from the, again, it is tied to a domain object, your model object. So the data. Okay. So this is being, this whole table is mapped to a owner. So you can change instead of city here, you should change it to what was attribute name? It's for the country, right? So yeah, so it needs, this one needs to map to this needs to match with your owner dot java. So the country, this one. So it needs to match with this attribute name. Okay. So owners dot data, country is good. Country, that's it, done. So let's see. Okay, now let's do refresh. Okay. So unfortunately, we need to add. Okay. So now let's go back. So find owner, oops, okay, it didn't come up, I guess. Too fast, looks like. Okay, so now let's do it. Find owners, and then look at this. Okay, so country, so we got the country here, so the view page also. If you want to add, you can add one at a time. Oh, that's okay, that's okay. Country USA and telephone, blah, blah. Okay, so here is the country got added. That's all pretty much. Okay, so that is what the exercise we wanted to do it today. Okay. So, so what is the bottom line? So we have the bunch of, see, that's very simple, right? I mean, probably you guys want to add, you can do more practice by modifying other pages, okay? Adding more attributes or maybe more fields and things like that, okay? So I think that's it for now. So that's all for today. Thank you.